Today we're going to be going over how to solve word problems. Please make sure you have your math journal out. So if you do not have your math journal, pause this video and go get it now. Solving word problems. The first thing you need to remember is to read the problem and then use cubes. So that's the very first thing we're writing on our notes. Read the problem and then use cubes. The first part of cubes is C, to circle the numbers. When you circle the numbers, this is something that is showing you what you know about the problem. So I wrote, what do I know? Because the circled numbers show you part of what you know about the word problem. The next part of cubes is to underline the question. This is what you need to find. So what do I need to find? Well, underlining the question will tell you that. The question is usually at the very end of the word problem, and it's pretty easy to find. The next letter in cubes is B, and B stands for box important words or phrases. So when we're boxing important words or phrases, this would be things like units or clue words, right? So maybe all together or difference, because those tell you what to do, which operation to use. So I'm going to add on to my notes, and I'm going to write units, and then maybe over here I'll write operation words, because we need to look carefully at which words we're boxing to make sure they're actually important. The next part of cubes is E. E stands for evaluate, which means just to find the next steps. So we're finding the next steps using E. We've circled the numbers, we've underlined the question, we've boxed important phrases. That tells us everything we need to know about the word problem. Now we're making a plan and figuring out what we're going to do. That's evaluate. The very last part of cubes is to solve. So you've made a plan with evaluate, and now what is the answer? How do I know? That's solving using your plan. So you're using your plan to solve the word problem. I am going to be using the page that you were assigned as homework as an example page. You are a word problem warrior. We want you to conquer, that means actually do and figure out, the word problems below. Race your answers by typing your answer below the problem you solved. Do all of your work on a separate piece of paper. Cubes. C means circle. Well, on a Google Doc, it's a little complicated to circle things. You can, but Google Docs isn't very good at it. So I decided that we would highlight in yellow when we want to circle something. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Underline, you just underline it. Box is going to be highlighted in blue. And then E is evaluate. We don't have to annotate for that, but evaluate means plan. And then solve, there's no annotation, you just solve it. So we're going to do an example using number 6. Let's read it because our notes said read the problem first. A coffee shop has 5 gallons of milk to make drinks for customers today. The customers use 2 quarts of milk every hour because of their orders. How many hours will the coffee shop be able to make drinks with milk before they run out? Okay, so they have a set amount of milk and they want to make sure that they don't run out. Notice I did not annotate, I just read it. I want to get an idea of what the problem is about. Now I know what the problem is about, so I can start solving it. The C in cubes is circle, but remember, instead of circling, we're highlighting in yellow. So I'm going to go down to where I want to circle. Well, here's a number, so I'm going to select it. That means I'm going to click and drag to select it. until it's highlighted there. I'm going to go up to the highlighter button. It says highlight color. Click on that and click yellow. So now my number is circled in yellow. Okay, so 5 gallons of milk to make drinks for customers today. The customers use 2, oh, there's a number. Again, click and drag to highlight it, and then click on the highlighter, yellow. 2 quarts of milk every hour because of their orders. How many hours will the coffee shop be able to make drinks with milk before they run out? So 5 and 2 are the only numbers in there. Okay, the next part of cubes is U, which is underline. So I'm going to find the question, which is right here. I read it twice already. I go up to my options up here. It's right near the highlight button, just 2 over. It says underline. It's the U with the underline underneath it. All right, so I underline the question. Now I'm at B, which is box important phrases or words. So I'm going to go back and read it one more time. A coffee shop has 5 gallons. Ooh, that's important. I need to know the unit. So I'm going to select gallons, and my boxing color is blue. So I'm going to box it in blue. 5 gallons of milk to make drinks for customers today. The customers use 2 quarts. Okay, quarts, and they use 2 quarts. So use is important because that means that it gets sort of taken away, right? It's something that's taken because they're using it. Of milk every hour. So every hour. That's important because it tells us how much do they use in an amount of time because of their orders. How many hours will the coffee shop, one second, let me highlight this. How many hours will the coffee shop be able to make drinks before they run out, or with milk before they run out? Oh my. So I've boxed all my important words. I circled my numbers. I underlined my question. I have C, U, and B all the way done. My next step is E, which is evaluate. That means make a plan. I know 5 gallons of milk is what we have, and 2 quarts are used every hour. Notice I took from the circled numbers and the boxed words to write down what I know. If I look at my problem again, I'm looking for what I need to find. Well, I need to find how many hours the coffee shop will be able to make drinks before they run out of milk, right? So I'm finding an amount of hours. So this is all part of using cubes. So C and B are what I know, and then U is what I have to find. So that's part of my plan. Now I have to think of the operation I want to use. So if there's 5 gallons of milk and 2 quarts are reused every hour, those are different units. I have to change the units of one of these to actually understand what's going on. So if I have 5 gallons of milk and 2 quarts are used every hour, I'm going to want to change gallons to quarts. I want to see how many quarts are in 5 gallons. So I'm going from 5 gallons to quarts. Going from a larger unit to a smaller unit, so I would need to multiply by 4 quarts. So 5 gallons times 4 quarts, that's 20 quarts altogether. 20 quarts. Okay, well there's 2 quarts used every single hour. Okay, so far what I've done with my plan is I have converted 2 quarts, and now I'm going to figure out how many hours the shop can keep making drinks with milk. Because right here it says I have 20 quarts, but 2 quarts are used every single hour. That means I'm going to have to divide 20 quarts by 2 to find the number of hours. The reason for that is there's 2 quarts used every single hour. So that'll tell me how many hours I can keep using milk for the drinks. So solve is to actually solve it now. So I have 20 quarts divided by 2. I think we know the answer to this. We have a 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Subtract, I get 0. Bringing down the 0. 2 times 0 is 0. Subtract again. Okay, so the coffee shop can make drinks with milk for 10 hours. So here's all my work that I did for my problem. I used cubes to say what I know. I used cubes to say what I have to find. That's underlining the question. I made a plan here. I converted to quarts first, and then I divided how many quarts I had in 5 gallons by 2, because every single hour they used 2 quarts. That gave me how many hours the store could make drinks with milk. So I'm going to go back to my word problem, and I'm going to actually write the answer down here. So I did the R and the A in race just now. I restated the question and I stated my answer. Next, I have to cite my evidence and explain my evidence. So the evidence is that the store started with 5 gallons of milk and used 2 quarts every hour. That's evidence because it's in the problem already. I'm stating what the problem gave me, what I know are facts about the problem. Then I explained my evidence by saying this is what you do to those facts to get the answer. If you convert the gallons to quarts and then divide the amount of quarts by the amount used every hour, you'll have the number of hours the store can make drinks. I know that because I did all of the work right here. So all I'm doing is I'm writing this, everything I did, in words. Remember, if you have any questions, write them down for online teacher time, or you can email your teacher. I'm going to leave number 6 all the way done for you to show you how to do it. Otherwise, you've got this. Good luck, word problem warriors.